And Jake, obviously a whole new deal for Michigan this year. Your coach drawing all kinds of attention to Michigan. The thoughts on that craziness over the summer?
I'm sure it's been more crazy for him than it has been for a lot of us. I don't really, for me specifically, I don't read too much into it or follow it. So I think it's been a lot more crazy for him. But, whenever you bring a coach of that caliber into a program like Michigan, there's going to be a lot of craziness.
How intense is he compared to the most intense guys you've seen?
He's hands down the most intense guy I've ever met in my life. And that's a good thing, because it brings out the best in everybody else. Everyone wants to compete and show them what they can do.
Does that give you anticipation for fall camp, or a little bit of buckle up, here we go?
I'm just excited. I'm excited. You want to play for a guy that wants the best out of this team and wants the best out of yourself. So, he's got this standard for us, and that standard is to win drills, win days, win games. So you want to play for a guy like that.
You stepped it up last year. I got to imagine you're looking at hopefully your best year this year. What would you like to contribute to this team?
I can't really say I got a set expectation for stats or anything, but I just want to bring what I can to the table, and I know I can bring a lot to the table. I think the opportunities are going to come more frequently this year. I'm going to have a lot more balls thrown my way, and I think that could benefit this team.
If you watch Stanford, you watch the 49ers, these guys love the tight end. Does that get you excited?
Oh, absolutely. I think it gets everybody in the tight end room fired up. We're going to be doing a lot more block. We'll have a lot more guys on the field, rotating more guys, a lot more blocking, and a lot more catching.
What's on this offense in terms of responsibility to kind of take a step up from what it's been doing the last couple of years?
It's actually really similar, but we'll be doing it out of a lot of different packages and formations and stuff. We can line up on the line and block or catch passes. We can line up in the backfield as a fullback. We can split out as a receiver. We could have 2 or 3 tight ends on the field, anywhere on the field at any time.
Talk a little bit about the process of getting these new quarterbacks that just came in this summer up to speed with the rest of you guys.
That's something that I think they've taken pride in themselves. For Jake specifically, he knows he's competing for a job with a couple other hungry guys, so he's stuck his nose in the playbook, and he's been out at some of our player-led 7-on-7s and practices, and he's a quick learner. He's a smart guy, and I think it's helping him a little bit.
What do you and some of the other veterans do to try to facilitate getting them up to speed?
Just coaching them with what we know. For me specifically, I know the offense like the back of my hand, and when we're out there on the 7-on-7 and running routes, just communicating. If I'm running this route, the ball can go here. Different little things like that, and a lot of it they already know. Jake specifically, he's been a 2-year starter. O'Korn, he's been a starter, and they both had success where they've been, so they understand what it takes.
You've got so many guys that have said, "Look, we've really had enough of the losing, and this has to change." Is that kind of your feeling coming in, or?
Absolutely. None of us came here to lose games. We don't work as hard as we do in the off season to go 5-7. That's unacceptable, and I'm not gonna forget, and I know a lot of guys on this team, we're not gonna forget that bad taste in our mouth after last season. We're gonna use it to motivate us this upcoming year.
I knew you back in the Notre Dame game last year, but were you tentative ever on the knee last year? Was it ever in the back of your mind?
It wasn't in the back of my mind. I wouldn't say I was ever tentative, but I didn't feel as good as I do now, and I just didn't know. I thought I was 100%, but I didn't know I wasn't 100% until I started feeling 100% again.
When did that sort of click, where you're like, all right, I'm good?
Well, I retore my meniscus Northwestern week, and that kind of nagged me a little bit for a while, and I cleaned it up before spring ball, and once I cleaned that up, got rehabbed and conditioned, I felt really, really good. It started feeling good, and I could notice the difference. I felt like myself again this past spring, and then throughout the summer, it's just been getting progressively better and better.
And one last thing.